and welcome to Hornet Park Elementary School. We're so glad you've joined us for Back to School Night. I'm Erin Probus, the principal here.
And I'm Anthony Osborne, the assistant principal.
We are so eager to see your student come to school on the first day, Wednesday, July 31st. So when you come to school that first day, there are 3 different ways that you can get to school. First would be the car rider line option. If you choose to bring your child by car, you will actually go past the Hornet Park Drive to the high school parking lot, cut across to our north drive that loops in front of our building. At that point, an adult will meet each car, taking your child by the hand inside to the building where we have lots of adults waiting patiently, ready to help escort your child to their classroom. We ask that your child, if in the car rider line, be on the back seat passenger side just to make it as efficient and safe as possible as we unload. So that's your first option. Your second option would be to be a bus rider. You will have signed up for bus transportation and you'll be able to see soon what time the bus will be at the stop. But we ask that you arrive at least 5 minutes prior to your anticipated bus time. That will just make sure that every kiddo can get on the bus on time and get to school. Don't worry about your little one. If they're a bus rider, we have lots of people waiting the minute the bus pulls in to escort them all to the right classrooms. So buses are your second choice. Your third choice is to park and walk up. We have limited parking up front, and we ask that there are no cars in front of the building until after 8 a.m. That's just to keep our students and our bus transportation going smooth and safely. So what you would do is park in the community center parking lot and walk up to the front door. At that point, there will be adults ready to greet you and your child and escort your child to class. You'll notice in all 3 options, regretfully, parents are not allowed in the building. That is just one of our security measures, but please trust that the minute you hand them from your hand to ours, that we'll get them safely to class on the first day and every day of school. So we have an option on the first day of school that if you want to park at the community center lot and walk up to the front door, that we will have a hug checkpoint. And that is just kind of the last possible step for parents to bring their little ones and do the handoff from you to us. So you'll wait in a hug checkpoint line. When you get to the furthest point possible, you'll give your little one last tight squeeze and you'll hand them off to us and we'll lovingly escort them to class. So that will be available on the first day as well. Speaking of the first day of school, let's talk about the schedule. We open the car rider, bus line, and walk-up line at 7:40 a.m. On the first day of school only, kindergarten is released ahead of the first grade. Kindergarten will be released on Wednesday, July 31st, beginning at 12:20, and we hope the buses are pulling out of the lot by 12:30. That early release on the first day for kindergarten just gives them the opportunity to figure things out without the big first graders along for the ride. First graders on our first day of school, July 31st, they will follow our normal Wednesday schedule. On Wednesdays, we begin dismissal at 1:20 in the afternoon, and we have every bus out the door and on the road by 1:40. So to recap, we have 3 ways to get to school, right? We have our car rider line, bus line, and walk-ups. On the first day of school, we have that hug checkpoint waiting for you at the front door. And then also, we know the first day of school, July 31st, is on a different schedule. Kindergarten will begin dismissal at 12:20, being hopefully done at 12:30, and they'll be rolling out the door. And then our sweet first graders will follow them, beginning dismissal at 1:20, hopefully with buses rolling out at 1:40. Let's talk about then Thursday on. So we should be old pros by the second day of school. Thursday is August 1st and we'll be on a typical schedule. Arrival begins at 7:40 a.m. with the tardy cutoff at 8 a.m. As long as you're in the car rider line by 8 o'clock, you should be able to come in the car rider line entry. If you're running late, stay chill. We're glad you're here at school. We just need you to park and walk your child in the front door and sign them in. We hope you'll make every effort to be here on time. Every regular school day then, we begin dismissal at 2:20 in the afternoon with buses pulling out by 2:35. We hope that you will help us make each day safe and smooth and make attendance a priority. Now that you know the first day schedule, the typical daily schedule, Let's talk about the one last tidbit with scheduling, and that is Wednesdays. Weekly throughout the school year on Wednesday, we have early release to accommodate for teacher professional development. We begin dismissal on Wednesday at 1:40 in the afternoon. So just expect your little one home a little sooner on Wednesday afternoons.
Additionally, we'll talk about how the kiddos are getting home. Each student will receive a bus tag or car tag. These will identify how each student is getting home. Each student will receive a bus or car tag that will go on the back of their backpack. Now, we want to make sure that you keep those on there so that helps us identify how that student's getting home. Now, with the buses, each parent will receive two parent tags that will match with their student identification. So this will allow you to be able to pick the student up off the bus. Now, if for some reason you cannot find that tag, it is a requirement from Hornet Park that that student will not be released off the bus without that parent tag. The car rider students will have tags on their backpacks, and the parents will have a tag that will be placed in their car. This will allow those parents to be able to match their parent tag with that student. Now, I know sometimes things happen, and if for some reason you do not have that parent tag, you will have to pick up that student from the main office. Just make sure that you have your ID with you so we can make sure that you are picking up the right student. We want to make sure that our dismissal process is as smooth as possible. So we ask that you have one transportation route for your student. We know that sometimes things happen and you have to make changes. We ask that you make those changes and you contact the office no later than 1 p.m. each day. If an emergency arises or there is necessary for you to make a transportation change, please contact the office by 1 p.m. Additionally, we do not allow any transportation changes or any pickups after 2 p.m. each day. A helpful tip if you have a student at Hornet Park and at Central Elementary. The tip is, in the morning, to go drop off your student at Central first. They will allow the students in the building just a little bit earlier than Hornet Park, and then come over and drop your student off at Hornet Park. And that is flip-flopped in the afternoon, where it is faster to come pick your student up here at Hornet Park first, and then go over to Central and pick your student up. Additionally, our school, we want to ensure the safety of all of our students here at school. So there is a unique way that each parent is required to come into each building. We have a buzzer system out front where you will hit the buzzer. Our front office secretary will ask who is at the door. At that point, we ask that all people enter the building have an ID out so we know who is coming in. We appreciate you helping us with this system. We just want to make sure that all of our kiddos are safe. Thank you very much for all of that. Regretfully, we do not allow visitors to come in during lunch, but always feel free to come in during that lunchtime that your student has, and you can always sign them out. Just make sure they're back here on time after their lunch to make sure they're ready to learn.
So as you walked in this evening, you may have noticed along the sidewalk our learning garden that was so generously provided through a grant that our school received. But we just wanted you to kind of mark your calendars and consider being involved with our Fall Planting Day. Be on the lookout in our newsletter. It will be in mid-August, but we invite parent volunteers to come on in and help us get that garden set up for a fall harvest. So we've had the opportunity to share with you the ways to get to school, the schedule on the first day, what to expect on typical days, and how to really maneuver our security and transportation policies. We thank you so much for your patience and getting on board with us to help it make a smooth start to the school year. I also, before you leave tonight, want to encourage you to take advantage of what's here for you. Your lovely teacher in the classroom is going to share all about what to expect for your classroom level information and the student's daily schedule. But also in the cafeteria, you can see what it's like for our students to go through the cafeteria line, and they can even practice holding a tray. Then also we have transportation representatives in the cafeteria that are there to answer questions for you regarding buses and bus stop times. There's also a bus parked out front of the school if you want to be able to capture a photo moment or just practice those steps. You're welcome to do that. Some of you, several of you, still had some paperwork to drop off. Maybe you were getting that shot record from the doctor's office, or you had to dig out the old birth certificate. Any of that outstanding paperwork that we must have for school to start that you brought tonight, good job. Please stop by Mrs. English in the main hallway and make sure you give that to her. For everyone here tonight, thank you for taking time to get to know a little bit about Hornet Park. We are so excited to meet your student here on the first day of school, Wednesday, July 31st, and we know it will be the first of 180 wonderful days of school. Welcome.